Okay, so this is the next video in our continuation of our AWS series. So in this video, again, we will look on the S3 service only, but a few more options. So today we will cover about the S3 storage classes. So S3 storage classes. So basically, so if you go to the AWS free tier slots and open the first link, and if you scroll down and you check the S3, and if you see here, so it is mentioned, yeah, so it is mentioned it is a free tier, but it is a free tier of a standard storage. So standard is a type of a class. All right, so we will see, okay, for the standard storage we have the free tier, but what other storage classes we have available, which is provided with the AWS, and how we can put the objects into that storage classes. So storage, okay, so let's create a bucket. So basically, when so you have the one bucket and you want to put any object into that bucket. So at the time of uploading the object, you can decide in which storage class you have to put. So within the same bucket, so bucket is just a global. So bucket has no relation with the storage class, but the objects within the bucket which you are placing, that will go into any particular storage class. Okay, so let's create a bucket. So open the S3 and then click on the create bucket. So let's create a bucket. And I'm creating in a London region, US2, and just create a bucket by the default settings. So bucket has been created. So if you click on the bucket and if you try to upload the object, so as I say that the object which we are putting inside the storage class was inside the bucket, then at the time of putting we can decide, okay, in which storage class we can put that particular object. All right, so you can also see here the storage class will be mentioned. So when the objects will be uploaded, so there is a one column of the storage class. So here in this column will determine, okay, this object within this bucket reside on this storage class, the other object in some another storage class, the third object may be in some another storage class. So let's upload it. So add the files and so I have the India flag image. So now if you scroll down, so rather than just click on the upload, so you have one option, properties, and the properties we can specify the storage class in which we want to upload our objects. So if I expand the storage class, the properties option, so you could see a lot of number of storage classes like you have available. So Amazon S3 offers the range of storage classes defined for different use cases, right? So they have the storage class here, and so basically I think it is like a 6 to 7 storage classes. So let's check. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So this is like a reduced, this may be like get decommissioned soon. And we have these storage classes, standard one, and one is the Vanjan, and then we have the Glacier type of storage classes. So these all three come under the Glacier type of storage classes. So it's just a name like Glacier Instant, Glacier Flexible, Glacier Deep. So now when we're trying to upload objects, so at the time of uploading, we can select, okay, whether I want to upload my object into the standard storage class or intelligent sharing or standard IA. IAM is infrequent access. Infrequent access means in the standard class, generally those objects we get uploaded, which we have to use on the daily basis. IAM is infrequent access, that is object is not getting frequent. So if we know we are uploading any object and we know this object will not be get accessed like very so frequent, maybe once in a month or twice in a month, we will access that object. So rather than putting in the standard storage class, it is recommended to put that object into the standard IA, that is the standard infrequent access. That is the standard infrequent access. The normal standard is the general purpose. General purpose is for the common use cases, right? So for that, and and the cost is also low for this storage class, and for this storage class the cost is more. Okay, and so there are like other storage classes, one zone infrequent access. So the difference between standard and the standard IA, standard means like if we want to upload that object, and that object we like on the daily basis, or maybe very frequently, like we will access. So frequently access data, so should be uploaded into the standard class. Infrequently access data, so maybe those data which we want once in a month, that data should be uploaded into the standard IA. We can upload it into the standard, but we have to pay more cost. And you could see these are availability zones are greater than 3. So if you like upload here, so there are 3 availability zones. And for the one zone IA, so one zone, even the storage class name is one zone, and if you see the availability zone is only one, right? And the name is itself is the one zone, so recreatable infrequent access data. And the disadvantage of one zone IA is, let's suppose if, because this is will be only in the one zone, and if there is an issue with this zone, our whole data will be get lost. Okay, so we have the like Glacier. So basically all these 3 Glacier will be used for the longer purpose. And let's suppose if we want to store the data for the 90 days or more than 90 days, and that will be accessed like very frequent, like not very frequently, maybe once in a month or twice in a month, or maybe quarterly. So for that, like we can always put our data into the Glacier. So Glacier instant retrieval, Glacier flexible retrieval, Glacier deep archive. So the difference is in the Glacier instant retrieval, long lived archive data. So the archive data which we don't want, so we can put into the Glacier instant retrieval, but retrieval is instant. So we have put the data, the cost will be low, but if we want to retrieve the archive data, then it will be very instant. So if sometime maybe you have put the data for the 90 days, after 3 months, so you want to access the data, so when you run the query to access the data, it will be very frequent. But in the Glacier flexible, it will take a minutes to hour. So if you put the data into the Glacier flexible retrieval, so flexible retrieval means it is not instant, it is flexible retrieval, right? So if you put the data, it is also for the long lived archive data, like the data which we don't need, or maybe like data we need in a year, then we can put in that. But and if we want to retrieve the data like once in a year, twice in a year, then to retrieve the data, it will take even minutes to hours, right? Then we have the Glacier deep archive. So Glacier deep archives is again for the like for the longer term. So those data which we want to store for the longer period of time, and we don't want to access it. And but if we want to retrieve it, it will take hours to access, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, even 12 hours, 48 hours to access. So you run the query, then after 12 hours you will get the result. So this is what the Glacier deep archive. Okay, so let me select the standard, because otherwise I have to pay the cost. So let me select the standard. So basically I want to show how we can like select our like storage classes if we want to store the data. So by default is standard, but if you want to store in some another storage class, we have the option and we can select so standard, and let's upload it. So the file has been succeeded, close it. So now we could see one object, and here you could see the storage class is standard. If you upload in some another storage class, maybe Glacier or standard IA or one zone, then there you will see standard IA, standard Glacier. Okay. Now other thing we will like cover in this topic is the life cycle. So we have covered the storage class, and now we will cover the life cycle. So life cycle means, so let's suppose we have like any object which we, 1 minute, let me make it up. So we have any object we have put into the S3 is standard class, standard storage class, but we can set a life cycle. Life cycle means maybe after 90 days it should automatically move to the standard IA, and maybe after 180 days it can move to the Glacier, and after 240 days it moved to the Glacier archive. So we can set our life cycle. So after how many days you want to object can move to some another storage class, so that you have to pay the less cost. All right, so we can set our life cycle. So go to the objects in the bucket, go to the management, and under the management we can create a life cycle rule. So click on the create life cycle rule, and my bucket life cycle rule. And then we have to select, okay, for which objects you want to apply this rule. So for the simplicity, let's set apply to all the objects. I acknowledge. And life cycle rule action, move current version. Okay, now here you have to mention, okay, when you want to move to the, so right now it is the standard, right? So when you, because by default it is a standard, so when you want to move to the standard IA, so I want after 30 days my objective which is in the standard class, it should automatically move to the standard IA. And maybe after uh, 180 days or 90 days, it will move to the Glacier instant retrieval. And after 180 days, it should move to the Glacier flexible retrieval. And after maybe 240 days, it should move to the Glacier deep archive. Right. So we can set our a life cycle as well. And I acknowledge that the life cycle will occur a one time life cycle request, cost per object if a transition small objects. And you could see here the flow. So day 0 objects uploaded, after the 30 days it will move to the standard IA. After the 90 days it will move to the Glacier instant retrieval. After 180 days it will move to the flexible retrieval. These are the basically storage class. After 240 it will move to the Glacier archive. So we can create a rule. So just cancel it because we don't want to create a rule. I just want to show you like we can create it. So let me delete that object, and it's a permanent delete. Okay. And yeah, so we have covered the, so two more things. So one is the durability and one is the availability. So this definition, it is very important because most of the time it's can be asked in exams. So durability means if I am putting the data into any bucket, what are the chances it will never lose. So what is the durability? So durability should be very high because we want the data should not be lost. What is availability? Availability means like if I put the data into the S3 bucket or any storage classes, so what are the chances that whenever I am running the query, that particular storage class or S3 bucket is up so that I can get the data. So we want availability should be it should be storage class should be available. So so their availability is very high, 99.99%, 99.95%. So every storage class has different durability, every storage class has the different availability, but most of that has 99.99%, and few of them has 99.95% availability. So 99.95% means maybe you can say uh, for 30 minutes in a full year, the particular storage class will not be available. Otherwise, every year it will be available. Okay. Now we have the two more concept S3 object log and Glacier vault log. So S3 object log. So S3 means our bucket, object means whatever the object we are putting, a log means we are putting a log, but what kind of log it is? So it means if I put any object, so if there is any object and I am putting into my S3 bucket, I want to make a log on this object so that it should not get overwritten by any other object. So we can create a log as well. So it is basically a worm model. Worm model means write once, read many. So if I put the object in the S3 bucket, it will only stay that model, and no other if I even try to upload the file, it will not get overwritten. All right. So we can block an object version deletion for a specific amount of time or even for the lifetime. Similarly for the Glacier vault. So it is for the Glacier What? So it is also follow the war model. Log. So wherever it is log, it follow the war model. Like write once, read many. Okay. So how we can like implement this? So we have to just like put a like. So there is a I think rule. Even I'm not sure. So let's search S3 object log. So if you go to the S3 object log, how S3 object logs work? This is official documentation. So you can use the S3 object log to store objects using a war model. Write once, read many. Object log can prevent objects from being deleted or even overwritten for a fixed amount of time or indefinitely. So there could be some objects which you don't want to overwrite. So you can put an object log on that. Uh, so on that particular object. All right. So there is, I think, some a policy which will like so yeah, so these are the permission. So object load requires specific permission. So basically retention permissions. So this kind of retention permission we want to do that. So that's it. So we have covered like the object classes, how we can, if we want to upload the object into the storage, particular storage class, how you can select the object. So basically from the when you try to upload the object, so there is a property section, you can expand that. Along with that, we can see the management section, that is the create lifecycle rule. If you want to create a lifecycle rule, so you can also create that. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Thank